guys, it's Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. Well, it's time to harvest some green peas. So let me show you what they've been doing. Well, the sun is bright late this afternoon, but even though I've been growing the squash in with the peas and the sunflowers and the Swiss chard and lots of other veggies down the line here, carrots and lettuce and beets, the peas overall are doing pretty well. So you can see how they're on the plants. Some of the plant has attached to the fence, some of it hasn't, and that's okay. It's really hard to train them. The peas will grow up from the ground and they will start to flower as it gets closer to the top, and the peas will hang from the top. You want to wait until the pods are pretty full before you pick them. You start to feel them like this and you go, oh, there's peas in there and it's so exciting. Give it a few more days, because otherwise you get really small peas, and you just remove them from the vine like that and put them in the basket to join the others. So what they look like when they're at this size, you split them open on a seam and you've got all your little peas in there. And they're kind of like on, let's see if I can show you here. They're attached in here like every other one, and when you go to shuck them, is what we call it. You shuck them, you get the peas out of the inside of this, and I'll show you how to do that. In the meantime, I've got more peas to pick. You definitely want to give them time to ripen. I mean, you can see through the pod, you can see the peas in there. Let me see. And so right now on this one, there's still very little. You want them to fill out. So nature is really amazing. Nope, these just need a couple more days yet. I want them to fill out nicely. This one is ready, but the others just need a couple more days. Now, peas are a vining plant, and they love to trellis, and you can see that they are attached. This is the outside fence of my garden. So when you plant peas, it really is best to have some sort of trellis for them so they can vine upright and hold on to things. Otherwise what happens is they vine onto one another and they become this whole huge mass of pea plants that doesn't allow them to grow well, doesn't allow the pods to develop really nicely and fill out and be prolific. And it's healthier for the plants to have this air and this upright support. So it's best to plant them early in the spring, and then you can do another planting like late July, early August, and still get another set of peas. This is my very first picking this year, so it's going to be kind of light. You want to get the pods when they're a little bit rounder like this. Try not to let them go until they're like bumpy like this, because then there's like huge peas and they don't taste as sweet. Now, it's easy to miss them when you're picking them because they are the same color as the leaves and the stems. First harvest is always very light, but I have the first peas that I've grown in quite a few years. Got a little friend here. Little garden frog. He is certainly welcome here. He's kind of afraid of me right now. So normally when I shuck beans, I have a whole pile and I'm doing it in the house. But I just really want to be out in the garden doing it this time, so. So the easiest way to open these is to take your pod, use the rounded part. The other part's a little bit stronger. But take the rounded part, press it down, and then split it open. And you got all these beautiful peas. And then you can just swipe down it with your finger and you collect the peas. This is a wonderful pastime to sit at the table with a mountain of pea pods and visit with family and friends and shuck peas. Look at this beautiful one. Oh, look at that. You could eat these fresh too, the peas. Now these are not snow peas, these are just snap peas, kind of. I mean, the pods are edible, but they're not as tasty as it would be as if it were a snow pea. If you want to try one of these little ones, oh my goodness, they're so sweet. Now this one's pretty big. These are going to have some big peas. I don't like them getting bigger than this because then they just get like kind of tough and they don't taste very good. These are beautiful. You do always want to open these up and get the peas out because you don't know if there's like a mildew inside or something, so you want to double check. Make sure everything's healthy in here. These are going to be a little bit smaller. Enough for one serving here. Growing peas is a very easy and enjoyable thing. It's an easy crop for kids, a great way to get started into learning how to garden and take care of other things, because peas are pretty much self-sufficient until you go to harvest them. Okay, so I've been able to collect a fair number of peas here, and now I'm going to blanch them to put them in the freezer. So what I like to use is my double boiler. I have a little less than an inch of water at the bottom here that I've already heated and it's coming to boil. So then I put the basket container in here and then I put all the peas and then cover it up. Because these peas were cold, they're going to take a little bit longer to get going. But these will start to turn a really bright green as they steam. So what I do is I take this top part with some hot pad holders and I shake it to kind of toss the peas around so that they're not all cooking on the bottom, and so they can get to a uniform steaming. And you can see they're already starting to turn some color there. So this is a form of steam blanching. The steamer basket is really great for using for corn. If you want to take strip the corn kernels off the cob and then put them in there to blanch them before you freeze them. It works really good for broccoli. Even beans, if you want to blanch the beans before you freeze them, cut them up or whatever and blanch them before you freeze them. Because of the size of the basket, you can put quite a bit in there. I prefer not to get it more than half full because then you can't toss it around or stir it or anything, and it doesn't cook evenly that way. You also can use a little pot insert if you don't have very much. Steam it whatever way you want, but I just prefer the steaming process better than actually boiling it in water. Okay, you can see these are all done, beautiful green. It took maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and these were also very cold because they had been stored in the refrigerator. So if they're fresh and warm from the garden, they're not going to take that long. So now I'm just going to run some cold water over them to stop the cooking process. Then I'm going to pour the peas out on this tray here. I have a paper towel so it can help absorb some of the moisture. I like to steam them instead of blanching by cooking them because this helps to retain the nutrients. So I'm just going to spread these peas out, let the paper absorb it. And then I'm going to put these in the freezer for a little bit until they start freezing up, and then it'll help keep the peas separated rather than glumping into a solid mass. But look at the gorgeous, gorgeous green color here. And they're still firm and crisp, but yet blanched and ready for freezing, and they will last a long time like this. So these have been in the freezer for maybe an hour, and they're nice and hard now. So what I'm going to do is store them in these little snack pack sizes so that I can take some out and just use them. It's just me, so I don't need that much. And pre-freezing them like this, they're not going to freeze into a solid chunk that I won't be able to use just a certain amount that I want. So I'm going to keep filling these, and then I'm going to put them inside another freezer bag. Try to seal these up so there's very little air left in the bag. You could vacuum seal these too, and that would be fine. The only thing is, if these are not frozen enough, you could end up squishing the peas. So just to let you know, that word of caution. But when you double bag them, you won't get freezer burn. So that's a little trick for the freezer. So now I've got like little meal-size pouches of peas for the freezer. So there we go. So anyway, this is an easy way to preserve your peas. I hope you have a good harvest, and you guys take care. God bless. Always have hope. Bye-bye.